So
Yeah, I think people out there watching this right now can see all three of us nodding as as he finished that sentence. And remember, I know when we came up with that, it was crazy, man. I mean, everybody had their own kind of way about, oh, this could be the mission and this could be the mission. And when we came to this, everybody just went, yeah,
that's it. That's it. That's it. That's what
yeah.
it was a crazy moment.
Yeah, it really was. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Say that one more time, Steve, just so that the folks can get it.
Sure.
Okay, well, hello, Steve.
Hi, Steve. And Jeff.
And we've got Jeff here. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Steve and Steve show. Today, is it afternoon? I don't think it is. You don't know what it is because we happen to be in Vancouver, Canada today. Well, at least virtually, that is. So Jeff Voorhees is actually a partner of ours in our company, To Be Exceptional. I'm sorry, that's the website, tobeexceptional.com. The company is Exceptional Transformations. Jeff has got a storied career in the consulting world, as project management, and I'm sure all kinds of other things. But we decided, we've talked about this over time. We always said we were going to, at some point, do some interviews of various people. So this is our first interview, and it's Jeff Voorhees here. So you are our honorable guest here, Jeff.
Honored to be the first.
Well, great. We always start this with a little drink of some sort, and I have because of all this being inside all the time and eating and all that, I've decided to go a little smaller. And so I don't know if you can see this.
Towards your chest.
Towards my chest. There it is. So I have a mini Diet Coca-Cola. Everything I'm doing is smaller now. Because I want to get smaller. So cheers.
But we're big thinkers.
Very big thinkers.
Yes. And speaking of big thinkers, if this is the first time you're watching our videos, I encourage you to subscribe by hitting the button below and that notification button. So then next weekend when we release a new video, you get a notification that we have a new video out. And thanks for watching us. And
we do talk about, see, we're like getting more subscribers. I don't think we've hit that critical mass point where it just starts to hockey stick up, but we all know what's going to happen. And everybody out there that's listening to us now, you're the early people in that curve. You also are very special here.
Right.
So
early adopters.
Early adopters, exactly. We should talk about that curve sometime.
Yeah.
Steve, what do you got?
Tea.
Tea.
Yes.
Well, cheers. Jeff, do you have any kind of a drink?
I have my concoction of my own that is a grape flavored drink.
Nice.
Very good. Very refreshing.
Well, Steve, what's our topic today during this interview?
So our topic today is our why. And so each of us have gone down a journey and a path to figure out like what makes us tick. And so before we dive into that, I'll kind of explain it to our audience what that is. And it's really kind of like your soul's genius, your soul's essence. It's the way you show up. So a lot of people get confused because everybody wants to serve. And to serve others is a core fabric of us just being. We're all put here to serve. So it's how do we serve others is kind of where your why comes in. And another confusing part of your why is people try to make it bigger than it really is, but it's really how you deliver. And so for me, the way it was described to me is it's my rudder. When my rudder is down, my boat smooths out. When I'm not delivering on my soul's genius or my essence or my why, my rudder is up, and man, is that my world and my boat get rocky.
So any breeze comes along or a wind and you're across onto another
Across
place.
the lake, try to figure out how the heck did I get out here.
And hopefully you're not in the ocean if that's
It's
happening.
hard to steer the ship without a rudder. Let's just say that, right?
Absolutely. That's
right. So Jeff, I think you were when I lived up in the Fargo area where you're kind of your stomping grounds.
Mhm.
I think that's when you kind of went through an exercise to figure out what your soul's genius is or your why. You wanna kind of cover that?
Yeah, I would. I like to tell the story, and I'll try to be as brief as possible. I mean, you two know me, and I tend to be a little verbose once in a while, but so stop me if I get too crazy. But my
wait,
journey
Jeff,
really.
Jeff, but you're from Fargo, North Dakota.
I've lived most of my life in Fargo, North Dakota. I currently live in west central Minnesota, in the lakes country of
Okay.
west central Minnesota.
So is the movie Fargo true? Did it really happen?
Well, I used to own a wood chipper, if that means anything.
He's got a wood chipper friends. All right.
Yeah.
And I think the movie was true. It just inappropriately named Fargo.
Most of the story takes place in Minnesota. You know, the actual murder happened in Fargo, but then the whole rest of the movie is in Minnesota.
Wow.
A lot of those scenes are true. So, you know,
I am sorry I took us off onto that rabbit hole there, but I had to say it. When you said the word Fargo, it's one of my favorite movies out there, if that says something about me.
Yeah.
Jeff, when you talk, can you maybe get closer to your microphone? It's a little harder.
Oh, sure. I want to keep, yeah, is that better?
Yep, that's better.
Yep.
Okay, good. So anyway, my journey started about 12 years ago when I just decided that I needed some direction. I needed to do something for myself and kind of find out why I was on this earth. Oh shoot, I'm sorry, my monitor's gonna flake in and out on me. But anyway, I started my journey with a trip to a called Landmark Forum or Landmark Education, and that really was the one thing that set me on the path of really trying to figure out what my core was all about. And I learned that my real core is about authenticity. That was something that I learned at Landmark Forum. So from there, I went on and studied a book by a guy named Dick Richards, which is called "Is Your Genius at Work?" So when you talked about genius, Steve, you were spot on. It's really, that was my second step is I found out that my genius is what they call inspiring insights. And that typically your genius, if you work through Dick Richards' book, is you come up with kind of this 2-word phrase that really explains, what your purpose is. And my purpose in life is to inspire insights. And so I started living into that. And for me, it was natural. When I came up with it, it was immediate. I knew that was it. I know, Steve, you tell your story about finding your why and how it just, when it hits you like a ton of bricks, right?
Yeah.
And you just know it. and that really was the part that got me going. So that was my kind of first step, as I found out that my genius is inspired insights. And then later on, I started to study Simon Sinek. And Simon Sinek, obviously came out with his first book, Start With Why, and then he followed that up with Finding Your Why. Well, when I studied Finding Your Why and went through that process, he talks about finding your why as putting it into a to so that statement, to do something so that blank, right? and that's kind of the format of that. And working through that process, that's where I came up with my why is to intentionally inspire insights so that others will discover new perspectives and opportunities beyond their current reality.
Very
So
cool.
that's where my entire why comes from and what I live to today. And for me, it's really about, again, helping people, you know, take where they're at and helping, you know, inspire them to look beyond that and look, you know, beyond where they're currently at and how do they get to that next step or next level or next whatever, you know. So, but that's kind of a brief, you know, history of, took me 12 years to kind of get there, but
Yeah.
um,
But being
but,
being a project manager,
mhm.
right?
Yep.
Did you have particular days where you were not living into your soul's genius, your why, and days that you were, and you knew which one was which, like which days were which, and
Oh, definitely, especially for me. I mean, like you say, I can tell when my rudder's in the water or when it's not, you know, and when it's not, that's when I'm thinking more about me.
Yeah,
And
that's it right there.
really, it's just all, it's about Jeff, you know, which is okay sometimes, right? You know,
yeah,
to focus on yourself. But there are certainly, you know, when I'm in my purpose, it's all about how can I not only inspire others, but intentionally do it. I mean, there are times when I look for things to try to inspire someone or something to happen.
right.
You
Well,
know?
what's interesting is, right, and when you felt like you weren't on, right? And you're saying it was you, but really when you're looking at you, you're looking for ways to inspire yourself to get back on.
Oh yeah, yeah. I want to get back on that horse as fast as I can, because when I'm in that place, that's when I'm at peace. You know, that's when I'm, you know, I'm in my glory days or whatever you want to call it. You know, that's when I feel the most centered. You know, but that's why I say I know when I get off of that. You know, when I get off of that and I'm thinking about just me and nobody else, and you know, and things like that, I don't feel good at all.
I'm curious, Jeff. When you fall off of that and end up, I guess, looking in the mirror, you know, and just staring at yourself, I'm characterizing it like that. How do you, what techniques do you use to get back to your why? When you find, first of all, how do you recognize that you're, okay, I'm out of it, number one. And number two, then what kind of steps, or do you have a process to get back to your why?
You know, I think so. I don't know that I really, you know, written it down and said, here's the process, but I can tell in my gut, and I'm a big believer in gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I'm all for, you know, emotions and things like that, but my gut is my true north. It tells me whether or not I'm on track or not. You know, my gut is telling me that something's wrong here, and I start to listen. Yeah.
Do you fall into almost like a selfishness, would you say?
Well, and that's what happens when I start to get very selfish. That's when my gut starts telling me, this just doesn't feel right. It's like having an upset stomach, right? You know, you ate something bad.
Yeah, right.
And take a little Pepto and get back on track again. You know, and for me, it's just again stopping, taking a deep breath, and really saying, wait a minute, what are you doing? What's causing you to get away from your why? What's causing you to be self-centric? You know, and just really having that self-talk with myself. And I admit, I probably do it more than I'd like, I mean, but again, it's that old thing of you got to get back on the bike,
Yeah.
and just keep heading down the road.
Well, very cool. So I want to switch over to Steve on, because you went through the exercise last year. We took the Simon Sinek book, Finding Your Why, and took you through that. Why don't you explain that journey and the process?
Sure. Yeah, so I had never done anything like this. In fact, Steve, you were the one that suggested it for all of the group that was in your mastermind. And I was intrigued by it, and I thought, hey, I'll go through the process and do it. And it was a very interesting little interview process that we went through, mostly questions on the part of Steve that he would ask. And then he noted down kind of the way that I responded to things and the stories that I told, and started finding, if you will, commonalities and putting a thread together. And finally, we got to a concentration of things where mine is the journey. Now, that journey is definitely about inspiring joy and experiences on that journey, but the service that I give is taking someone on a journey. And that journey can be a metaphor, it can be an actual travel, because I've done a ton of it and love it. And Jeff, as I was listening to you, and you were saying, and you, Steve, where you can just feel it. You can really feel it when you're on. I'm sure everybody has that kind of feeling. For me, when I am on a journey, I am most in my element. In fact, I'll change the background real quick here on my thing, because this, I don't know if folks know where that is. They probably do, because exactly, Machu Picchu in Peru. My wife is from Peru, and when I see this, I've been there numerous times, but when I see this or any kind of exotic place like that, my why just exudes, just comes out of me like truth. It's like I am there. And it isn't just, so when you were saying, Jeff, the kind of selfishness, the kind of, okay, when I start to fall away from it, I know I'm focusing on me. I know I've been saying I a lot in this, but the truth of the matter is, when I get onto one of these journeys like that's kind of manifested in Machu Picchu here, it's all about service. It's all about giving over that experience to somebody else. And in fact, when I'm sitting in the experience by myself, I do have that kind of selfishness, gluttonous almost, it's like you very much about me. And so I was very intrigued with you saying it, which is why I wanted to know, because I'm a journey guy, I want to know how to get out of it quicker. I mean, I'd like to know how to get out of it really quick.
Well, that's
that kind of
illustration. Yeah, so I wanted to touch base on one thing. That when I learned about the soul's essence concept, one of the keys that was Marsha Weeder at Dream University who coached me through mine, and one of the keys that she emphasizes was that our soul's genius, or the essence, when you come up with that phrase or the set of words, could be one word, to not include a person or anything, but like when Jeff did his why, where it has so that, then you could include other people. But when you're focusing on the actual why, so Jeff, yours is to inspire insight, right? So that could be to inspire insight for others, or it could be inspire insight for yourself. And Steve, yours is the same way. It's all about the journey. It's either the journey that you're going through, or you're about to go through, or the journey you're taking maybe your family or your prospects, your clients through as well. One thing that I wanted to point out, Steve, that whenever we go over to your house for dinner, there is some sort of event there, right?
Yeah,
so it's
true.
Food and how the food got there, and there's probably some sort of drink that came from some place that has a story behind it.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah,
it's funny you say that, because literally just today I was kind of down about some things that were going on, and so I was just kind of laying around and because I was done with my stuff I was doing. And I wandered across this video on how to make French baguettes from this Scottish guy. And it's just like this 15-minute video. I watched that with such incredible enthusiasm. I wrote down everything, and guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to make French baguettes. I mean, and when I go into that journey, like you said, when people come over and I go into that journey, a lot of people say, oh, it's so much work to do. No, I am like lit up on it, you know. And I know, Steve, in your case, it's joyful experiences, right? That's
right.
Yours is the. So I'm curious how, I mean, I think in another video we talked about how you just, when you discovered your why, you laughed so hard for a couple of hours. It was like the joy just bubbled up through you. How about you? Do you, like Jeff, also have this kind of, when you're out of that why?
Yeah, it's being aware of your feelings, right? It's that awareness, that self-awareness. And right? You know when you're nervous, anxious, all the negative type feelings, you know that you're not on it. But when you have more of the positive feelings, you're closer to doing that. So a lot of times I'm working with computer customers, and because I have a computer background, I can provide pretty good experience for my customers. But if there is somebody in my way and that prevents me from delivering on that experience, then I get an uneasy feeling, right? And so then I know there's no way I can do what I need to do in order for this to be a good thing. And so I do get those feelings. And so when you have those, you know, okay, my rudder's not down.
Got it.
What can I do, right, to get the rudder down? Right. So when I helped last summer, I helped about a dozen people figure out their soul's essence, their why. And what I told them is that they have choices. Once they figure out that their rudder is up, they have choices at that point. They can leave the room, leave the conversation, or they can interrupt the conversation and change it, or do what they need to do. I had one client, hers was was fun. That was just her essence, was fun. And you could tell when she walked in the room, the fun showed up. I mean, she didn't have to say anything, do anything. It's just like, wow, what just changed? Oh,
right.
Paula just showed up.
Oh,
right?
fun
She
is
brought
here.
the fun. Right? So, you and then when she was under stress and things were not going well, man, you could feel the energy in that room just collapse because her rudder was not down. But she could have easily gone into a meditation mode, put some headphones on, got up, go to the bathroom, change the state, come back, and then all of a sudden it was like, well, what happened? Fun's back.
Right.
So it is pretty cool. And so, one of kind of couple tips on, and I want to do this before we close up here, is to give people some tips. And I've done this on a couple of videos, but the way I learned to do it is, there's multiple ways. There's not just one way, but one of the ways that I learned was to take 3 areas of your life that have nothing to do with each other, but you knew that you were delivering that day or that event, right? And then list all the things about those events separately, and then look through that for the commonality, right? So for me, one area was computer programming. Another area is when I was in front of a group of Cub Scout families at a Cub Scout pack and delivering the Cub Scout event. And then the third for me, which really threw me off when you compare those other two, you kind of see the similarities on the other two, was being on vacation, right? And so the being on vacation was kind of like that selfish part. It's like, how does this feel in here? And so, and Steve, like you mentioned, mine is joyful experiences. So that was what came out of that. And it took me a while. It wasn't something I just did over a weekend and discovered it. It was a long process for me to get there. And once I got the 2 words, joyful experiences, that's when I went into uncontrollable laughter, and I knew this was my soul's genius, right? The why part. So
Okay, so just to reiterate then, you're going to write down 3 things that really kind of float your boat. You may not have the rudder yet, but they float your boat, right? And then go and add the words into those 3 things, and then all the words, and that's kind of stream of consciousness at that point, right? Just write them down, and then you'll go and find the commonalities between the 3, and it can be put together.
Right.
Wow, that's cool.
The thing that I would say to people is, I love the process that you have, Steve. That's perfect. But I would tell people the first thing you need to do is start. Start looking. Start decide that you want to find your why.
Right.
Most people, that I see, they just go through life and they just do the things that they think they're supposed to do and stuff like that, and they never seem fulfilled. But they've never thought of it. They've never even considered finding out what their purpose is.
Right.
So that's my first tip is to start looking.
That's
awareness,
great.
as you put it earlier.
Yeah.
I think Simon Sinek's book his first one is called Start with Why, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is to kind of discover, like you said, Jeff, to discover that, begin. Yeah. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, that's good.
The journey of 1,000 miles, it starts with 1 step, the first step.
Right on.
So to loop it all back together with the 3 of us on a call and starting Exceptional Transformations, I want to read our company mission statement.
Yeah.
And let's see if people can pay attention to our whys that are in this one statement, very simple statement.
This is our mission statement. Yeah.
So it's inspire insight that transforms the journey into joyful experiences. So
I think people out there watching this right now can see all 3 of us nodding as as he finished that sentence. And remember, I know when we came up with that, it was crazy, man. Everybody had their own kind of way about, this could be the mission and this could be the mission. And when we came to this, everybody just went,
that's it. That's what we. So it was a crazy moment.
Yeah, it really was. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Say that one more time, Steve, just so that the folks can get it.
Sure. It's inspire insight that transforms the journey into joyful experiences.
Amen.
So I've adapted that to my personal why. You guys
I have it on my bedstand. You told me to put it there, and I have it now.
All right, Steve, I think we probably should wrap this up. Jeff, thank you for jumping on here and being our first guest.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's like Steve, and you're the ampersand. Put it all together.
I'm the ampersand sandwich. The Steve sandwich, right?
Okay, well, that might be going off onto another tangent. All right, cool. Well, cheers.
Well, we need subscribers.
We do need subscribers.
Subscribe now.
Did I put rum in this? I don't think I put rum in this. No, I didn't.
So are you going to do the thank you, or you want me to?
No, you go ahead and do. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for watching us. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notifications, and please share, like, and add comments, especially if you like Jeff's hairdo.
Especially. Cheers, guys.
All right, guys. Cheers.
Guys.